Hey guys, first regardsman here, and so I'll be talking about the easiest assault build for Space Marine 2 patch 12 to push into higher difficulties. Now, on this build, I will be using the Heroic Power Fist Death's Grasp, mainly because this is like the best fencing option in the entire game for assault when it comes to armor reinforcement, because of the perk over here, Follow Up Shot. Performing a finisher marks a nearby Majoris or higher enemy for a gun strike, light attack damage increases by 200%, but charge attack damage decreases by 50%. Now, the gun strike damage on assault is already quite high thanks to perks like Proven Efficiency, but if you combine this perk with the perk over here, Armor Reinforcement, that gives you 1 armor on every single non-finisher gun strike, you are getting so much free armor that on both Chaos and Tyranids, your life is going to be like 10 times easier, so a really good synergy there, and one of the reasons the Death's Grasp Power Fist is so strong on assault, at least for newer players. Now, the 200% bonus light attack damage here also means you can just punch enemies without animation locking yourself as much, and the losing 50% charge attack damage does kind of suck, but to be honest, this weapon does so much charge attack damage anyways with a base 15 strength that it's really not that much of a downside even with the 50% charge attack damage reduction. Now, for the perk tree on this, I do start off with the perk here, Perpetual Strength, then I move here into the perk Heavy Preparation. Heavy attack preparation times reduced by 30%. Even with the 50% charge attack damage reduction, having a faster heavy attack helps you out for a lot of reasons. Number one, you will be able to stagger enemies at a distance far more easily. The Power Fist still has a ridiculous range on charge attacks, even on this version, so definitely pick this perk up. The next perk here is Perpetual Strength, and Perpetual Strength again for a 10% melee damage increase. And then we pick up the perk here, Focus Intention. When your health is below 30%, you take 50% less health damage while preparing heavy attacks. This is one of the best defensive perks in the entire game, and like I mentioned before, your heavy attacks are still very strong on this weapon, so still pick this one up. It is far better than the perk option below, which is Rally. Next perk here is Tide of Battle. Power Wave forward distance increases from 4 to 8 meters. This will actually take your Power Wave distance from 10 to 20 meters. The description here is wrong, so it's way better than it sounds initially. Next perk here is Following Blow for an instantaneous back fist and back fist 2 after a thrust jab. Thrust jab being your base charge attack on this weapon, so a really good perk options for free damage. And the next perk here is Strength of Will up into the perk combo, and the final perk is Majora's Slayer, and that's pretty much all there is for the Power Fist build. For the secondary weapon, you do have a few options. If you are fighting Tyranids, I would probably pick up a heavy bolt pistol, mainly because fighting Neurothropes and Zoanthropes with a Plasma or Inferno pistol just sucks ass in this game. So for Tyranids, I usually pick up the Ammo Reserve option on the Relic tier or the Heroic option. Both are very strong. As far as the setup for these guns go, I do pick up the bottom tree predominantly because the bottom tree has the best perks for the Assault class, starting off with the perk here, Divine Might for a 10% damage increase, into the perk here, Perpetual Penetration, Increased Capacity, Extended Magazine, and the perk Death Strike. After killing a Majoris or higher enemy in melee combat, you will deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. This will also trigger off a melee finisher, not just a melee kill, so keep that in mind, and a 25% damage buff for pretty much free on this class is actually pretty damn strong. Next perk here is Great Might, into the perk here, Strong Start. Then I pick up the perk Able Damage. After you use a class ability, damage increases by 20% for 10 seconds. On the Assault class, you will use your jump pack all the time on pretty much every single build. This is up pretty much 24/7. Next perk here is Home Precision, up here into the perk Gunstrike Reload that instantaneously reloads your gun after a gun strike. We are a gun strike build, so really easy to pull off. And the final perk here is Tactical Precision for 20% more headshot damage, and non-headshot damage decreasing by 10%, because the only thing that matters on a heavy bolt pistol on both the Heroic and Relic tier options is your headshot damage, so definitely grab this one. Now, if you're fighting Chaos, I would probably take the Plasma or Inferno pistol, mainly because you do want some form of stagger for Soul Cannon Terminators and stuff like that, and also the Chaos spawn. For the Plasma pistol, I take the Rate of Fire version just because the contested health recovery here is top tier, and the damage is also quite high. And for the perk tree, let's go full ammo economy and stuff like Divine Might and Perpetual Velocity for more shot charge speed. Now, for the Inferno pistol, I just take the Ammo Reserve option because this class is pretty ammo hungry, and having this on Chaos is actually pretty damn useful. I actually prefer the Inferno pistol these days on Chaos for operations like Vortex and stuff like that, because it actually performs quite well versus both the Soul Cannon Terminators, Melee Terminators, and Chaos Spawn. Now, for the perk tree here, we do go down the bottom tree, Perpetual Range, because effective range is actually pretty damn important, since the Ammo Reserve option, while having a very high magazine capacity, which is totally worth it, does also have a much lower range than the Rate of Fire version does, so that's why we pick up this perk first instead. Next perk here is Brace Reload, into the perk here, Perpetual Range again. Then I pick up the perk Great Might, into the perk Increased Capacity and Adamant Restoration. When your health drops below 30%, your ammo reserve is restored by 25% of the maximum capacity, cannot exceed maximum ammo capacity, the cooldown is 30 seconds. This perk is like the only ammo restoration perk for the secondary option on this class anyways, so definitely grab this on this build. And the final two perks are Extra Shot and Trick Shot for armor restore on a 30-second cooldown for killing 5 enemies in one shot, which is very easy to pull off against Chaos, against even Zangors, but especially the Cultists, and that's pretty much all there is for the secondary selection. Now for the Assault's perk tree, I do take the perk Armor Reinforcement first. This is by far the safest option for this build and really any Assault build. 1 armor for every single non-finisher gun strike is incredibly valuable in this game because any amount of armor remaining in Space Marine 2 will reduce all incoming melee damage to 0 even from bosses, so that makes you incredibly safe on Tyranids and even Chaos. And next perk here makes you even safer with Defense Mechanism. Contested health fades 50% more slowly. Contested health is one of the hardest things for newer players to deal with, so this perk will make your life significantly easier because of that. So combining these two perks together makes it very hard to die and gives you a huge margin for error. Next perk here is Active Attrition. Enemies hit by damage from melee attacks executed while sprinting or dashing take 25% more damage for 5 seconds. This will apply a 25% damage taken debuff to the enemy that you hit for you and your entire team. It will also buff up your gun strike damage, which is a pretty rare effect in this game. But I will say, if you want to pick up Perseverance for like HP reduction during your charge attacks or knowledge of the enemy for more flat damage, you can definitely do that. I'm just taking this one for more gun strike synergy. Next perk here is Proven Efficiency. All team members deal 30% more gun strike damage. This is a gun strike build, so more gun strike damage is kind of a no-brainer. Now for the gear perk tree, I do take the classic combo of Smiting Angel, Zealous Blow, and Pride and Duty, mainly because this is by far the easiest combo to pull off for any player. All you have to do is just go up into a horde and then go down and get all of your charges back. That is super easy to pull off. You don't have to do anything like timing with Wings of Flame or Furious Strikes and stuff like that. So for the purposes of this build, I think it is the best option for most players. Next perk here is Ample Ammunition. Any use of Jump Pack or reloads the equipped ranged weapon increases damage by 50% for 10 seconds. Since we are not playing with Wings of Flame, I'm not taking Commitment. Commitment is definitely the better perk, though, I will say that. If you feel more comfortable using perfect dodges on their own with the Jump Pack dash, you can definitely grab this for the animation cancel. It is definitely a better option if you're trying to, like, you know, min-max this class, but Ample Ammunition is definitely easier to pull off, and so is Takeoff. So if you want to take these two, you definitely can. The major benefit of Ample Ammunition, in my opinion, is actually for the Inferno pistol. This weapon has a 5 business day reload speed, so being able to instantaneously regenerate this off of a single jump pack is actually pretty strong. I did use this before they buffed up Commitment to actually work with like animation cancels and stuff like that, but that is pretty much all there is for the main perk tree here, and hopefully this gave you a better idea of how to set up this class. Now for the Prestige perks, I do take Duelist first because this just gives you a bigger parry window on a fencing weapon, making it incredibly easy to pull off. The next perk here is Fortitude. Health increases by 15%. Then you can either pick up Scramble Targeting or Practice Aim, and the final perk I would grab no matter what is Hammer of Wrath, for a 30% range damage reduction upon jump pack use and no knockback for 15 seconds to keep you from being stun locked. And that's pretty much all there is for this build, guys. I do think this is probably the easiest build in the entire game for Assault right now for both factions. You just have to make sure you set up your secondary weapon properly depending on what you're fighting, but for the most part, it's really not that hard to run at all, and Zealous Blow is still a very powerful perk combo, even though Wings of Flame and Fury Strikes, they can be a bit better if you're at like a higher skill level. But for now, that's all I have to say in this one. Hopefully this build guide helped you, and if you like content like this, subscribe for more. If you want to watch me live and just ask me questions about the game or come hang out, you can find me here on YouTube or on Twitch with a link in the video description alongside a link to my community Discord. And as always, take it easy. Bye.
Into their midst.
I think it could definitely be a problem. We'll see. Oh yeah, that actually works there.
I shall soar on blazing wings.
exactly not what I wanted. I would find it perfectly adequate if you would please just die. Thank you. Your contributions noted.
Patience wins wars. Grab Servo Skull, nothing more.
Well, they add the Emperor himself to operations. That's basically what some people ask of these games. Are we gonna get Custodies in the game that has literally zero prerequisite? What do they call it? That has zero reason to believe we'd ever see Custodies in. Probably not. Some of the things that people ask for, like the bogus forums, are fucking insane for this game. Like, are we gonna get bikes for our white scars? It's like, of course you're not gonna get fucking bikes. Like, that's such a dumb question. I'm hesitant to call something a dumb question. Like, some of you like, will we get bikes for white scars in Space Marine 2? But yeah, they're gonna give an entire dev time. They're gonna give all their dev time to putting in vehicles for one chapter or two. It's more two, but you know what I mean. Makes no fucking sense. Just think about it for 2 seconds. Hi FTG, when do you think we can expect Space Marine 3 2029 at the earliest? It's gonna have a 4-year dev cycle, I said.
I was worried you had fallen victim to Metrium's mastery of malforming destructive frequencies, but now the ungovernable sensation associated with cause my remaining skin. Be warned, Perk. Metrium cannot hope to stand against you alone, so she will lie and stalk in hope the Xenos swarm will devour you. Case in point, she has enslaved that Servo Skull as a crude mouthpiece, but give her word zero credibility for the mission's sake. At your own. I trust you always. One more mindless beast slain.
This weapon's very easy. I do think it's very boring though. Like, all you really do is just go from like gunfight to gunfight the entire time. Wings of Flame is probably more fun, but Throw Power Fist is definitely easier. Eating my $1 ramen bowl and watching FTG's peak luxury, I'm spoiling myself too much. Yes, I too have partaken in the $1 ramen bowl.
Charges to eradicate the tunnels and and halt the infestation.
Antigens is released.
Set high, brothers. We need Moses. Seal the Xenos infesting chasms with a thermal weaponry. Sterilize these burrows of Xenos.
Prepare to strike into their midst. Changing magazine.
That my girl FaceTimed me and interrupted my FTG time. Pretty mean of her. I don't know what FTG time is worth, but
This infestation has persisted.
you know, in 40 years, I wonder how ugly this game's gonna look. Like, you know, right now, these graphics look supreme, but how are we gonna feel in 10 years? 40 years, 50 billion years, 40,000 years.
Charge, brothers.
All Warhammer 40,000 years.
No beast shall crawl from that crevasse.
Your righteous reign is a beacon to the Tyranids.
We dare not be late to apprehend this
And pleasure.
threat.
We certainly are in a Wings of Flame meta, though. But that shit just does too much damage now, Curious Strikes. But, that being said, Devil's Blow is definitely what I would recommend for brand new players. Just because you don't have to time jack shit, you're just kind of playing the game. And you're like, oh, a horde, I go up, I go down. That's all you have to do. 47, thank you for the prime. Using my sub for one question, what 50 settings do you use? I use 1.25. I think that's the best mix between cinematic gameplay and like game and functionality. This Vibrant Heavy Bolt pistol, by the way. The graphics peaked in like 2015, though. That's an insane thing. Not even close. Games look way better now than they did 10 years ago. Depends on, I mean, depends on the budget they had, but even you compare like a AAA release from like 10 years ago to now,
Inside the facility, you'll
some games
find
look like shit.
Demetria, cowering in the data enclave.
And its myriad secrets.
Galio, old friend of mine. If you missed our binaric discourses, you could have sent communication. I observe you still pathetically cling to views of
You know, The Witcher 3 is considered one of the best looking games in 2015.
intellect's efficiency.
That game looks like ass now without the if there wasn't a remaster. Not a ass, but you can definitely tell that
How far you
it is very much.
have, I must drag you back into the light.
You pass the correct door, it will find you. Where your corpses shall
Prepare to strike into their midst.
I don't know, man, Arkham Knight still looks amazing. I mean, some of the games have great art direction, but like textures, rendering. The biggest place you see it usually is in shadows and draw distance. That's where you see The Witcher 3 suffer a lot. I know this because I used to mod The Witcher 3 an awful lot to look better. And the number one thing that always bothered me was how god awful the draw distance was, and like how awful all the shadows looked in certain areas. And some of the games have shadows are like one of the things that improve. You know, it's a hard thing to do. Natural shadows are like one of the hardest things in gaming to properly do. Number one, because
The truth of
the performance hog of shadows
was
is
a humble
unbelievable.
patched into a mining facility, and nothing more. What reason exists?
Does FTG have a Discord? Yes. We're at 2,000 plus members now.
I pose no threat to Galio
Get in there,
or
brother.
the Imperium, even if I should fall.
Disconnect her synaptic
Actually pretty
tethers from
active.
the facility command terminals. Stay stand firm. I expect her to rout Xenos to assault your locus. Hold this territory.
I remember when all the reviews for Witcher 2 came out, people thought the graphics had peaked. Witcher 2 did look really good for a 2011 game, like 2012 game.
Within the sphere of console negation.
Especially considering CD Projekt Red was not a very big studio at all at that point in time. They got substantially bigger after The Witcher 3. Now, Cyberpunk 2077, that might be the best game ever made, the best looking game ever made so far. At least post Phantom Liberty.
Consider this terminal.
I don't know if you guys have played that. I assume most of you have, because you're nerds like me. So you probably played Cyberpunk. Yes, that game is the...
Within the sphere of console negation. All we need to rekindle the light is a power cell generator.
You wish you were Johnny Silverhand? You want to be blown up by... You want to have your brain copied and then die? Alright.
As my theorems predicted, your life vector has converged with renegade factors and CT6.
Like a radical experience.
Resources and one perfectly good crops. Surrender now, and perhaps leniency can be granted. After the might.
What's it? What the fuck? Can we not? Perish, perish. Okay. Dude, if they... Listen, okay, if there are no people hating BioWare's left, because I'm dead. Running you over, dude. Student driver BioWare.
Into their midst.
It's actually more insulting than dying to them.
Locate a power cell, and we shall see to this ourselves.
I'd rather just kill me.
Victorious over the Xenos threat. This infestation has persisted for too long. Jump back, refuel.
Seek a power cell, brothers.
Alright, can we just chill out on the spore mines here?
Within the sphere of console negation.
See, it's it seems like BioWare's in this game that make me fear for like what the new boss is gonna be like, because
Stand by the terminal.
Saber has very much shown they don't give a shit about. They don't really care if the new enemy's gonna be annoying as fuck or not, because BioWare's are far more annoying than any of the base game extremists are. At least for Tyranid.
Locate a power cell, and we shall see to this ourselves.
So the new source for Terminator sounds like a ranged fan to me. As a force stab, you know what that means, guys. There's 0% chance that Saber is not reused. The skull asset.
Cell of my locus.
Just have them shoot skulls at you.
Power cell needed.
So be excited for that next patch.
Replenishing.
Oh my god, where even is it? Below.
Releasing frag grenade.
Like hounds in the center. Cannot be thrown off so easily.
Wait, are we getting a new enemy? Yeah, we are. We're getting a new boss. To be a Chaos Terminator Sorcerer, so get excited if you hate range spam. Which ending on Cyberpunk? I mean, depends. How about like the peaceful living one, where like you have no more implants? Oh, that one.
Within the sphere of consolidation.
Were lictors in the base game, or they get added later? I can't remember. They were in the base game. There's a whole boss fight, the Alpha Lictor. That's where the whole line lictors hunt alone. Yada yada. If I went for the worst one, it's the best one, dude. That's one where I get to live. What do you mean the worst one? You think the ending where I die is better? I don't think so.
Silence.
I shall soar on blazing wings.
Firm possession of her quivering mass of computational grey matter. The pulpus
So there's supposed to be a hot fix for patch 12 coming out, or patch 12.3. They said it's just going to be connectivity things, but we'll see.
evacuation.
Maybe they'll do a little buff or two.
Coordinates to you now, Viridian.
Jump pack refuel.
Alright, where's it go? Hopefully they fix the bug that's currently around with all the extra snipers and Bramble guys. Oh, that's not intentional. Okay.
Fresh munitions. Tyrannid menace annihilated.
You play Crimson Desert FTG? No. I don't really play any games except this one, Dark Tide, occasionally.
No storms shall delay us any longer. Not even this interminable storm dampens our chapter's colors.
Me as an angel of death. Reloading. I shall soar on blazing wings. Exterminated. Run, shall reign. Reloading weapon. Kill those wolves.
Do you plan to stream the new Total War game? Yeah, if you mean Total War 40k. Yes. Awesome.
Relinquish me, beast! Prepare to strike into their midst. Silence the beast's call for its foul brethren!
Triple Ravener, dude. Triple Biovore and a triple Ravener? Love it.
Throwing frag grenade! The slithering Xenos lies dead. I shall soar on blazing wings. Advance as one! Rearming!
I cannot land with that burrowing abomination lurking about. Deep scans have penetrated the atmospheric disturbances. security data pushed to your displays.
The Imperium demands the Trigon's extermination.
Its shell coating has weak spots. Shoot them!
Cool. Nifty. Oh, please give me a melted bomb, please. I know you're going to, but
Signals are up for a new shaft. Ready, Malcolm.
alright.
Sterilize these burrows of Xenos.
Take a boomba.
Evading strikes.
Sorry, he's definitely gonna go do another little. Or not.
Trigon kill confirmed.
Boss is kind of gunstrike fodder, ain't he? Alright. That sucks we didn't get like a first boss spawn there, but whatever. Yo, how are you today? Marines, may I ask which mission you recommend for learning solo absolute for the first time? Just play Decapitation. Or just play Siege, to be honest. They'll fight both factions on there. You also have to fight them on like similar builds, so it'll probably teach you that class a lot. Whichever one you're choosing.